are here with the man that is the founder of the museum at Dinosaur Junction.
You got it.
And oh my gosh, who knew?
We're surrounded.
Okay, I kind of knew, but really didn't know. I knew you're the dinosaur guy.
Yeah, the dinosaur
You're
guy.
known as the dinosaur guy here. But gosh, you have built this into an amazing thing that everyone really needs to know about, and also hopefully support what you're doing. Because a lot of people don't realize you're now a nonprofit.
We are. We have our 501c3 legal status set. Yep.
That's right. So we'll talk about that more at the end. But hey, donations, because he is trying. This location here, which we're in Wolcott, then Billy, you'll explain why on the whole point why we're here. But we're trying to have Billy really expand and find a home, a permanent home for your museum. So donations, please, because this is something that is great for the community, for the kiddos. You've got your little Fossil Posse.
Yep, you got it.
You have the camp for the kids. We'll talk about that again down the road. But right now, let's focus on the museum here.
Sure. Well, as you're talking to anybody, I want to thank you for having me here today. The folks watching are going to look at this dinosaur, and right out of the gates, you know, as a kid, this is one of the most famous dinosaurs. You remember this one. This is Stegosaurus. This is the Colorado State fossil, and there are fossils from this dinosaur sitting right down the street from where we are, right here between Walcott and downtown Edwards. There's footprints from Stegosaurus, and of course, fossils teach us of the animals and the life that used to be here. And when you find a footprint of something or a bone, that animal was here. And to date, I've found fossils from about 9 or 10 different dinosaurs, very recognizable from your childhood, that lived right here. And in finding all those fossils, besides having the kids camp, I thought we need to add to our community a dinosaur museum. I've lived here 30 years, and I've seen this town grow. We've all seen this town grow. And to be able to add layers to that onion, to me, is a really cool thing. And to now be able to add a dinosaur museum, and not just set up a building and go, aren't dinosaurs cool, but to reflect the fact that we have dinosaurs in our backyard here in Eagle County is a pretty exciting venture.
Right, and that's why you have this located where we are now.
Absolutely.
Okay, there's a lot of long words on these dinosaurs, okay? I'm not even going to begin to say what they are, but...
you want me to throw them out there for you?
Well, let's do a little tour, and
Sure.
then you can kind of throw out some of them. I've got my daughter Jade with us here that I want to have her look through it because she hasn't seen this, so she'll join us too on the little tour. So take us through, and then you can chat more about what you've got going on here. Come on,
we
Jade,
come through the front door here. So as we come in, it is the museum at Dinosaur Junction. The reason it's called the museum at Dinosaur Junction is because we have a kind of a rare situation right here where we are. Now, basically, the dinosaur era consists of 3 time periods: the Triassic, the Jurassic, which everyone knows from the movies, Jurassic World, Jurassic Park, and the third one's the Cretaceous. All 3 of those time periods make up a span of about 170 million years that dinosaurs ruled the planet. In a very rare situation, we have all 3 of those layers right here between Walcott and Edwards.
Yeah.
We have a coming together. We have a junction of the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous, thus the name Dinosaur Junction.
Very cool. People don't realize that.
It's a rarity. So as we come into the tents here, we have basically the museum now is set up as 2 tents. They're these large, huge, heavy-duty military tents. They're about 30 feet long and 16 feet wide. They're basically broken into 2 areas. We have the Triassic and Jurassic in this tent. The other one is the Cretaceous. Now, all the animals we see in these museums, not just dinosaurs, but crocodiles, sharks, turtles, flying pterosaurs, all kinds of weird creatures. Everything we see in here is representative of animals that live right here in Eagle County, right in our backyard. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we know they were all over the place, but because we found the fossils from that I mentioned, so we know for a fact that several of these dinosaurs, like this one holds a special place in my heart. This is Allosaurus. This is kind of the first dinosaur I ever found bones from, so it's kind of my favorite dinosaur. And this is kind of like Tyrannosaurus Rex's great, add about 20 more greats on there, granddaddy.
Whoa.
Did not live at the same time, lived about 80 million years before Tyrannosaurus Rex, and there's footprints and bones from Allosaurus right down the street from where we're standing. So this is kind of an exciting dinosaur. It was about as long as this tent, about 30 feet long and about 10,000 pounds.
Okay, I have something to ask.
Yeah.
That was your first
This
one.
was the first dinosaur I ever found bones from.
Okay,
Yeah.
so tell everyone how you got into this.
Well, like every little kid, you know, I was enamored by dinosaurs. They were like fantasy meets reality, you know. So obsessed would be a good word to a point, you know. Then the teen years, girls and cars came along, so you kind of go away from that. But then I came back, and not growing up with the internet, I couldn't just pick up anything and look up anything and question I possibly had. I could read, sure, but even then there wasn't a lot of research. There was a lot, but not compared to what we have nowadays. And now I can jump on the internet and ask any questions I possibly could have about paleontology, which is the study of ancient life, or dinosaurs in particular. So I was able to start doing a lot of research about things and just random questions. And then I started taking that information and hiking into the hills right in our backyard, and got lucky. I guess you could put luck in there somewhat, to some sense. It's a lot of work, but luck definitely factors in.
Yeah, and passion.
And passion.
And your
And passion.
That's always what
it's a
it is.
grueling. Like, paleontology is the most difficult and amazing job I've ever had in my entire life. My body is beaten down, but I never don't have a smile on my face because it's so exciting.
And that's true, because whenever I run into Billy, wherever in town,
Yeah.
he's always this
I like to.
happy.
It's like I get to live my life in a time machine.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally get to go back and pick up bones from dinosaurs that lived hundreds, sometimes hundreds of millions of years ago, and I'm the first human to ever find it, or I'm the first living creature to come across it since it died. And something that came across my mind one day when I was digging up a big dinosaur, I was on a National Geographic expedition, and I was wiping away the dirt, and it's in Utah. And there was the eye socket of this giant dinosaur. The eye was looking right at me, and all of a sudden it dawned on me, I'm the first living thing to brush away this dirt. This is the first time the sunlight had hit it in 76 million years. That was this time period we were digging in.
Crazy.
So not only did I find this dinosaur, but I'm now part of this dinosaur's whole story.
Yeah.
I just crossed eons of time with one swipe of a brush, and I'm now part of this animal's life history,
Yeah.
which was really exciting. So that really gave me the thought of, wow, I literally I get to spend my time in a time machine and travel back to these incredible creatures. And then it just grew from there.
Yeah.
Once you start anything, you start getting, you know, educated on and start getting more knowledge about, your passion grows, your interest
right.
grows, because now you have such a foundation, and then it just snowballs from there.
And then being able to share it with everyone and
Exactly.
see the joy that it brings to all these kids, well, young kids and older kids.
And old kids, yep.
So, with that being said, at this museum, okay, because it's open not year-round.
Correct.
It depends on the weather, and that's why it's important to find a permanent home so that you can be here year-round.
Yeah.
But, I mean, okay, folks, $5.
Yeah, we only took
the
$5 to
admission
come in and check
to
all this
come
stuff
for the
out.
kids and anyone under 4.
Under 4 is free, 65 and over is free. The donation jar is always sitting there, but as you said, being in the Rocky Mountains, we're extremely limited by weather
Yeah.
up here. So as we get into fall, we pick around October 1st is when weather starts to get too unreliable.
That's
And
right.
having these incredible, priceless fossils and treasures out here in these big tents is not a good thing when the weather starts
No.
getting real bad. So we do need to find a home.
We need
Otherwise,
to
we
find a
close
new
it all up. Yeah.
No, we don't want
Till
that
spring.
to happen.
I know. I want to
So
keep it open.
take us around
Okay.
now to the next little part
As we
of
come
the...
around this side here, this one right here is another one of my favorite dinosaurs. This is Stegosaurus. This is the one we started out the interview we were standing in front of. One of the most famous and well-known dinosaurs because of its very bizarre look with the big plates on his back, the spikes on his tail. As I mentioned, this is the Colorado State fossil. The first Stegosaurus and the most Stegosaurus fossils ever found in the entire world have been right here in Colorado. There are footprints from this guy right down the street, so we know Stegosaurus roamed the area as well. Coming over here, we have the gigantic ones. These are the animals that give the word dinosaur its true meaning, is the giant. We call them sauropods. Kids know them as the long-necked dinosaurs, and they're this kind of selection on this little shelf right here. Several of these have lived right here in Colorado. There's footprints and bones all over. There's massive footprints right down the street. In fact, just last week I found some enormous bones that are disappearing into the rocks, and a tooth in the same area, which appears to be about a 50 to 60 ton long-necked sauropod dinosaur right down the street. So our list of dinosaurs right here between Edwards and Walcott continues to grow every time we go out looking. So these are the ones that are truly massive. These are the earth-shaking dinosaurs. The ground would move under your feet as they walked by, and they walked right here where we are.
I can
Right
only
here.
imagine. That is one big femur.
That's a huge femur. As we leave this tent, we head by our friend Staggy, we call Staggy the Stegosaurus, right? And we're heading into the Jurassic era tent. This is this one right here. And this is a pretty cool time period here in Colorado. This is when things start to get really strange, not just with the animals, but with the physical layout of not just Colorado, but the western states. If we could snap our fingers and go back 80 million years, 90 million years, right where we're standing would be a lot like this, Andy and Jade, right there. The majority of the land is covered in ocean right here.
And people don't realize that.
Yeah.
So again, this is such a great informational place for kiddos to learn about history,
Yeah.
hands-on.
Hands-on
And
in
that's
the
what-
history that's literally under our feet.
Yeah.
Literally, the fossils we're finding are telling us. Right behind where we're standing, you guys can't see it right now, but literally right behind us, the layers right here behind camp are the ancient ocean floor. And if you look way up top, you can see the sand. That's the sand from the bottom of the ocean. I can hike up in those hills, and this is the only place in the world I've ever found a shark's tooth, is in the Rocky Mountains. I've never found one at the beach, but I find them in the Rocky Mountains. Shark's teeth, giant shells from clams that were about this big, all kinds of creatures, these little ammonite, these little squid-like creatures with a shell around them. These massive things these are marine reptiles, not dinosaurs, but marine reptiles. Some of these guys, like this mosasaur, got twice as long as these tents, and these tents are 32 feet long, which means over 65 feet long these creatures got. They were massive, and they swam right here where we are. So we have lots of real fossils. These are all beautiful, real 70, 80, 90, 100 million year old fossils right here. Teeth,
And you found
bones.
these here.
These I did not. Just to clarify, in this area, bones that I have found are still sitting where they are.
Okay.
This area is mostly Bureau of Land Management, it's BLM land, and I'm not legally allowed to
Okay,
remove
got it.
dinosaurs. Shark's teeth are one thing, shells are something else. So what you see in the museum here are all fossils that I've purchased from professional fossil hunters around the Midwest, western Wyoming, Montana states, and even overseas in Africa. And they represent animals that I found here. Everything I found is still sitting.
Okay.
Because
good to know.
eventually I want to be able,
Yeah.
I want people to be able to hike up and see the bones and
right.
see the footprints where they've been for hundreds of millions of years. So
don't you be digging up those
yeah,
fossils
so
and
don't
taking them.
remove those. This is a little baby jaw plus a backbone from a little mosasaur that would have been about 6 feet long. You can see the little teeny teeth in there. And as we come into this area, you're going to see a combination of fossils that were from creatures that did live in the ancient ocean, but then something very peculiar started to happen about 70 million years ago, and that's when the Rocky Mountains were born. And when the Rocky Mountains started to push up, that ocean got pushed away. That's why the ocean's not here anymore. And the Rocky Mountains grew to many tens of thousands of feet. And during the dinosaur times, believe it or not, Colorado was covered in peaks, mountain peaks that were as high as Mount Everest. Some of them reaching 30,000 foot peaks.
Okay.
Yeah, so that would push the ocean away. But the dinosaurs didn't go away yet, so the land came back, the ocean disappeared, and then we had some of the more popular dinosaurs, Tyrannosaurus Rex, Triceratops. I know T-Rex is one of Jade's favorites, I think. One of the most, I think it has the best Hollywood agent, T-Rex does. It's the most well-known, but they roamed ancient Colorado. The very first T-Rex teeth ever found were found outside of Golden, Colorado, so we know T-Rex was in Colorado. Triceratops is regularly found in the plains around Colorado, so these two dinosaurs were right here.
Well, okay, information
Blown,
overload
mind
right
blown.
now quickly, but I love it.
Yeah.
You have to come see this for yourself.
Yeah.
This is amazing what you've done, Billy.
Thank you.
And-
And by the way, if I can say real quick, everything is on our website.
Yes.
Fossilposse.com.
Yes.
Fossilposse.com. We don't really have a newsletter set up yet, but we're constantly putting updates on the website for times, for showings, for things happening, for events, for developments in the museum, for all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I want to make sure I'll also post that for people so they can just, go directly and have it and don't have to listen to the exact, .com.
Sure.
But that's great. They may have already. But also, what Billy's saying is things keep changing.
Yeah.
And some Zoom classes, other things. So really keep going back to your website and really see what's happening. And please, please support Billy in this venture because this is really an important part of the history of Colorado.
Not just that, but I think also what we can bring to our community. We can bring so many jobs. We can bring education and science. This isn't this isn't my museum, this is our museum.
That's right.
This
It's
is a
community.
nonprofit, it's a community museum, and we are just very fortunate to literally have dinosaurs in our backyard.
Yeah.
No one else in the high country can brag about that.
Yeah.
No one.
Well,
So that's
you
pretty
got the
exciting.
bragging rights.
I got bragging rights. We got bragging rights. So it is about growing something that can give so much back to our community,
Yeah.
which is what the museum can do.
And that's what all of this is about.
Yeah.
So thank you, Billy,
My pleasure.
so much.
Thanks for having me.
And he's getting ready for some people coming.
I got
Some
kids arriving.
arriving soon. Okay, take care. Thanks again, and head over to Billy's website.